Já, góðan daginn kæru áhorfendur, við erum hérna aftur í Rauðum Raunveruleika núna klukkan 9 á mánudegi og í kvöld erum við að fá til okkar skemmtilegan gest, hana Nicole Voigt frá Svíþjóði. Hún er meðlimur í Unga Vänster, Ung Vänster í Svíþjóð sem er mætti bein þýða sem bara ung vinstri í Svíþjóð og hún ætlar svolítið að segja okkur frá hvernig ungliðastarf vinstri hreyfinga er eiginlega háttað í Svíþjóð. Og hún situr í sem sagt stjórn svona federal stjórn ungra vinstri í Svíþjóð og getur örugglega sagt okkur margt hvernig hlutunum er háttað þar. Sæl, hello Nicole. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
Same
How are you
to
doing?
you. I'm fine.
Nice.
Now I only see myself again, but
Yes, I hope it doesn't take you out of balance because that's pretty much how our application works, unfortunately.
Okay.
We
So
can
it's okay.
also we can also have like a double view and yeah, we'll
I will
sort it out
appreciate that, so I see who I'm talking to.
like that. Yes,
Yes.
excellent, nice. Yes, this is better. So where are you right now in Sweden?
Right now I'm in Malmö, that's close to Copenhagen in Denmark. More specific, I'm in my bedroom
Cool.
with my computer. So that's where I'm at the moment.
So are you? Is young Unga Vänster? Is it working in Malmö at all? Or-
Like our general board that I'm a part of, we live in all around Sweden, but like our center local is in Stockholm. So we have our kansli and like everything organizational in Stockholm, but us members of the council live all around Sweden.
I see. I read online that you were a member of a federal board.
Yes,
Oh.
exactly.
How does that work? How does it lay itself out?
We in our organization we are organized in the city you live in, and then the region you live in, and then whole of Sweden. So I am a member of the ones who help the whole, like the whole Sweden, and
I see.
our the things we do is more like we help the other steps of the ladder, so they can have it easier. Like, so when you are active in your town, that you don't have to think about like what paper should I send into the government and everything like that. We handle that, and stuff like this, talking to our friends around the world and organization, I think. But the most activists are in the cities.
Have you been in contact with a lot of other movements around the world? And what have you been organizing some kind of like projects or meetings or anything like that?
Me personally have only been contact with Denmark, but the Young Left are somewhat in contact with the Norway sister, and also we have something called feminist self-defense, and they have been in Palestine and in, I think, if I don't say it wrong, Uganda. I don't know exactly.
Sounds right. Uganda.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure it was Uganda, but we have been in different places around the world and learned out self-defense. But mostly it's for Young Left in Sweden, it's mostly Norway, Denmark, sometimes Finland, and you guys.
Yeah, we're relatively new, so we have in Iceland we have like maybe four main parts of the country that could be said to be regions, like you were talking about. But the young socialists here in Iceland, we haven't really created the structure for like smaller units to be in contact with this bigger overarching unit. So we might take some inspiration from you guys. You are you old, your party? I'm not exactly on it.
Yeah, our party was founded 1901.
Oh wow!
And it was actually from our organization that our mother party was born. So we are older than our mother party. So that's quite
older than the mother.
yes.
The youth wing, nice. That's very cool.
Yes. So we have some years on our back.
And has the policy been the same throughout the years, or have you gotten more radical, or has there been like many changes about the ideology? Maybe if I take the last years or decades.
The biggest difference from when we started is that now we also incorporate feminism and anti-racism, because when we were founded it was only socialism and communism. But through the years we have implemented more feminist ideas and anti-racist ideas to get
maybe environmentalism as well.
Yes, that's maybe the newest part we are taking in at the moment. I know that our head my English is not so good today.
It's quite alright. Your headquarters?
Our president, it's weird to call her that, but she's
chairman maybe.
Yeah, chairman Ava. She is really interested and passionate about environment, and so that's something that we are on the rising.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be on the rise, like, and has been in the last years. You know, it's been a wake-up call all around the world. So we maybe have to get more like make more influence on that here in Iceland. But we hope that it will be big on our agenda too.
Yeah, we have a left-green party in parliament that sold itself out on being, or I mean, they told us that they were very environmental and stuff, but they're petering out as just, you know, defending the system and playing with the powers that be to further create more factories and hydroelectric dams, destroying nature and so forth. But let me ask you, your mother party, it's in parliament right now, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Do you have many members? Or?
We in Young Left, we talked about that before we started. From Wikipedia, in 2020 we had 3,239 members, and our mother party has, let me see, I'm not so good about them. They have 28,872 members. So we're quite a lot, but not the biggest party in Sweden.
No, I get you. Are you in government or outside in opposition?
We are in the opposite, because we don't agree on the things that the Socialist Democrats and the right parties in Sweden say. So we are not in the yes.
In the government. Well,
yeah, exactly.
What are the biggest reasons, like the biggest issues that stop you from joining their government?
The biggest reason, I think, is that they are trying to become more and more like in my personal opinion, more and more like America. So they are selling out the school system, the healthcare, and like taking away some of the orders that the unions have built up through the years. So they are like actively working against the working class.
It's
So-
quite strange in Iceland, maybe decades ago, all the people on the left were like telling us, look, Sweden is doing this, Sweden is doing that, we should do that. But now, most recent years, the right-wing party is always looking at Sweden saying, look at how Sweden is doing it with the healthcare, we have to be more like them, and trying to sell everyone that, this perfect utopia of Sweden is doing some good things. But I quite doubt that they have good intentions in mind, like they want to privatize more, especially in the healthcare system.
Yeah.
So that has been a trend in Sweden.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been quite a trend, and actually, our mother party that is in the parliament, they have had a campaign for many years now to stop the profits.
Market-based solutions, profits in public
profits.
services.
Market-based and profits in everything that are healthcare, schools, all elderly units and everything. Because as it looks right now, many of our tax money goes to profits of the ones who are leading in the region or for the whole country. So
Well, I was in Sweden like 5 or 6 years ago, and people were talking a lot about how privatization in the school system. You had like an interesting, cool neoliberal thing where you privatized the schools, but they weren't really privatized. Like every student would get money with them. So the schools were publicly funded, but they were like privatized. So people saw this maybe as some kind of perfect middle ground where you would have the nýsköpun, the idea, the new idea generation that's supposed to happen when you have private enterprise.
Innovation,
yeah, you'd have the innovation which you were supposed to get when you have private businesses, and you would have the social security net and access for everybody. But people were telling me in Sweden that the schools started to compete for students in a lot of like unhelpful ways, like giving them laptops and stuff that just didn't really relate to education. Can you tell us something about the system?
Yeah, of course. It's quite new because before you automatically were giving the school that is closer to you, but now you can choose what school you want to go to, and it's it hasn't been that great that they say it should have been, because it's some even preschools, some parents send in the applications to the preschool before they go into labor, because the queues to go into that school is so long. So that, like, before they even go into labor, they send in an application about preschool when the kids is 7 or something. And in the what we call gymnasium, which is maybe high school, it's hard to convert.
Probably similar as we have in Iceland, I think, for maybe 16 to 20-year-old people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
16 to 18. There are many private schools, and as you say, they offer MacBooks and I don't know. I didn't go to a private school, but the funny thing about them is that I have friends that has gone to private schools and they are so bad. We get free lunch in school in Sweden, but I know my friend who's still in gymnasium. She eats lettuce and beans for lunch because the vegetarian option is not so good, and it's really
Damn.
bad. And then I know one case. It was a school in Lund, where I went to school as well, that out of nowhere said, we're closing the school next semester. You have to find another school. So it was people who were about to graduate, that like the last semester or term, had to find another school. And then the media saw that the owner of this school went out with profits about many millions. So that's quite common right
Yeah.
now, that schools cut down, but the owners make a profit in millions.
So they're failing in their fundamental responsibility, but paying out massive profits.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
horrible. No, like
And
so
that's-
often happens when you like implement market-based solutions
Yeah.
into public services.
We actually have, elections coming up quite soon in the mayoral elections and, council elections, and a lot of the propaganda on the right seems to be going to be telling, funding for each kid. Like, it doesn't matter which school they go to, and they call it like some kind of freedom of choice, or to go whatever school, and they're trying to sell it like freedom, but it sounds more like that, we're implementing a system where we're gonna have, quite frankly, more oligarchs coming in because they're going to get rich out of the state institutions. And I've been telling it a lot of the time that in Iceland and in other countries we're going to be like Russia in maybe a few decades, because all of the oligarchs are coming, and they're just like leeches sucking the blood out of the system. And it's so maybe we can point to Sweden when we start debating the right now, and tell them how it's really going.
Yeah,
Tell
that
them
sounds
that it hasn't
exactly
worked.
what's happened in Sweden. And in Sweden, like our like the healthcare has been that way, the school has been that way. Our pharmacy, who before was one pharmacy, are now different, like companies. And it's gone so bad that when you are going to get out your medication, they don't have maybe your medication, but they have a whole section of makeup.
Yeah.
Or
Candy
I saw
or something.
what?
Candy, that's a lot of the
Yeah,
time in our
yeah.
pharmacies, just candy.
Yeah, they have candy as well. And I saw now that they have Black Friday sale and Christmas
Yeah.
sale, and I was like, it's the pharmacy. I just
Yeah.
want my medication and plaster
Exactly.
or something.
It seems like we're going more close to the States, as you tell, and it's even so, it's such a hellscape in the US that they have like advertisements about like, you take some Parkerdine Forte, it's gonna make you happy. It's I just shake my head when I think about the way we're going.
Yes, it's very incredible, like, especially when we've had like systems like a pharmacy or a hospital or a school system that is publicly funded, publicly run by public workers, and it's going good. And then we've tried all these methods and what market-based solutions or offering out contracts to private companies to take care of some part of the school system or something. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's
It
more
gets worse.
expensive.
It's more expensive. It's good for a very few select people, but it's worse for most of us. Well, how's it going on the ideological front, do you feel, in Sweden? Like, are these ideas, they're still strong in your current government, as you've been saying, but are you making any headway in like bursting these ideological bubbles, do you think?
Like the parliament in Sweden right now, it's more liberal than social democrat. So the picture of Sweden as the social democratic country.
Paradise.
Yeah, I don't say it is that anymore. So the only like opposition is our mother party, but to get some to get their voices heard, they also have to move a little bit closer to the other parties, so they don't seems extreme. Hey,
Yeah,
Tuna.
extremists.
Yeah. So they try to still have their values, but in the last couple years they have also moved, and we in the young left. Yeah. Yes, sorry for my cat. We in the young left, we have pushed on the mother party to go back to the left and not continue to the right.
Yeah. And how is the media landscape in Sweden? Are the most media just owned by the same people that want to privatize everything and make sure, like, is the media's purpose, like here in Iceland, most of the time just making sure that the rich gets richer, and you don't have any maybe alternative or what we could call objective-based media?
That's quite funny in Sweden, because the left people who are left wing call the media right wing, and the people who are right wing call the media left wing. So I don't know. The newspaper itself, it's often liberal. We do have one paper that is social democrat, but I don't know, the debate articles that come in is very liberal and conservatives. And
So like the Swedish state television is maybe the most neutral news you can get in Sweden.
yeah, I would say that the state television is the most accurate, because they have we have something called TT, which is completely you can get neutral. So if you see that the information comes from TT, you know it's more real.
Reliable, or
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, the situation is a bit worse, I would think, for our state media. It's like the conservative or the independence party, the right-wing party here in Iceland, has had chairman of our state media, basically chairman of our state media, have been in the independence party for the last I don't know 20 years or something. And most of the journalists who used to be maybe more on the left and were in our state media, they have pretty much left the media.
They've kind of penetrated and infiltrated the state media.
Oh yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is quite common that people on the right think that the media is too far to the left, and people on the left think the media is too far on the right. But do you know anything about the ownership of the major medias? Are they are there few owners or many?
We do have one family called Bonnier. They are an old money family that owns some media and like publish books. So I know that we have Bonnier family that owns a lot of it. But the funny thing is that many of the owners don't directly say something, but if you go like under, okay, you know that one and you are organized in that group, then you can see that they all are connected, but they don't actively say anything. But the Bonnier family it's one that have a lot of control of the media or the books and newspapers. But I don't know if the news itself, all the biggest newspapers are saying the same, but maybe the debate articles show more difference. But then we have a few Nazi newspapers online that are becoming more and more popular, and people don't realize it's racist and Nazi because the website is very clean and looks very good.
Yeah, and they're maybe quite sleazy the way they're saying things, you know, trying to maybe talk around the edges.
Dog whistling. and
Yeah,
so
dog
on.
whistling and so forth. Yeah, and you also told me before the show that, you know, maybe some people in Iceland are familiar with this, but you have this party called what is it called? Democrat Party or something that are quite racist.
Oh, Sverigedemokraterna.
Sweden, yeah, the Sweden Democrats, exactly, and they've been they've been polling quite high, haven't they, in Sweden, getting quite the following.
Yeah, they are the third biggest party.
Oh no.
If you
What?
look at the last election. And I also talked about before we went live that our Swedish Social Democrats has been taking over some of the arguments and ideas from Sverigedemokraterna. So now even our social yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
when you start things about it.
Yeah, it's very bad. How many seats do they have in parliament? Are they bigger than the left party?
Let me see. We have out of in Sweden in the parliament there are 349 seats total. The left party has 28, so we have 8%, and Sverigedemokraterna have 17.53%, so they have 62 seats.
Almost double the following of the left party.
Yes.
That's sad. They were when they were started in after Sweden took in a lot of Middle Eastern immigrants, isn't it so? Or
The party started in the 90s, and then it was a Nazi organization, and then it has been evolving to suits. If you know what I mean, like from boots to suits.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
And they claim they have maybe purged the worst elements, but they haven't in real, like, you know, but they're in suits now, so maybe they look more moderate and
yeah,
approachable.
yeah.
Friendly Nazis.
Nazis in
How
suits.
about that? But okay, enough about these Nazis. Well, what have you, the young left? What have you been up to, like in the last 6 months? Have you hosted any events, or do you maybe are there maybe the smaller cells in the regional boards doing things?
like our local clubs do things almost every day, or depending if it's in a big city or in the countryside. But we have active members all over that do things all the time. It can be like they study together, we go out and banner drop, and we have demonstrations, and it has been hard now with Corona because most of the things we do together, and we haven't been together now due to Corona. But it's election this autumn in Sweden, so right now we are starting to push the election movement, or like the campaign forward. So we have recently launched our election campaign that I don't know if you've heard it before, but in Sweden we have something called the Youths for Rights. So every member of a society should have the right to work. That's good. I don't know. The work, job,
Housing maybe.
housing, and free time. So that's 4 rights that everybody should have. So, and as we discussed, many of them do not people have anymore. So we are having that as a campaign now this election.
Is it a parliamentary election that's coming up?
Yes. So we have election every 4 years, and then we vote for the region, the city, and whole parliament, and then it's EU election. I don't know, not the same years, anyways.
Yeah, the EU Parliament elections.
Yeah. The last EU Parliament was 2014. I don't know when next are. I'm not so.
Yeah.
Can you tell me one thing? I used to be in the Pirate Party, if you know the Pirate Party.
Yeah.
I used to be in the Pirate Party here in Iceland, but I was always more of a socialist. So when the Socialist Party came up here in Iceland, I decided to go there. So, but I knew a couple of pirates from Sweden. Are they in Parliament right now, or do you see them active, the Swedish pirates, in any way? Because we have a pretty decent-sized pirate party here in Iceland.
I haven't seen them since maybe 2006 or something.
Well,
So they are not in the parliament in Sweden. I don't know if they have. I know the last seat they had was in EU Parliament, but I don't even know if they have that left. Maybe 1 or maximum 2 seats, but in the parliament I haven't seen them for years and years and years. And I've been active in the Young Left for 8 years now, and I haven't seen them since maybe in the beginning, but they are totally.
Is there? Do you, because you've been in the Young Left so long, are you in regular contact with other youth movements in the other parties?
No.
Oh.
Many of the other parties want to have they want to socialize between the parties, and I know when you are at schools and talking to the students, they often come and socialize with us and with each other, and absolutely I can be a decent human being towards them, but it's sometimes they think we are all in the same boat, we all have the same opinions, and we all want to be parliament leaders in the future. So they're like, oh, let's bond and socialize, and I'm here no, I don't want to socialize in the way that we are going to bond connection for the future if we both come in the parliament, because I don't want to sit in the parliament. I want to be active in my everyday to-day life. So no, I don't really.
That's one thing that's pretty much bothered me. I've been involved in political parties for quite some time now, and it's always this thing people expect that, oh, you're going to this, so you're necessarily you're aiming for parliament, or you're aiming to go into the city council, or you're aiming for some job or some kind of success
career maybe
career in politics. but it's so sad because I think we should more just take part in social parties and social activity without necessarily being aiming for that, because there are so many things that can be done that are very useful for the movements or for society, and yeah, I think it just tends to take us out of balance. And then there's one story that a legendary leftist here in Iceland, Ögmundur Jónasson, he used to be a minister. He held a speech the other day, and he was kind of attacking his old party, the Left Greens, because they were supposed to be socialist, they were supposed to be environmental, but they've just gotten into bed with the powers that be that are extremely corrupt. And so Ögmundur, this legendary leftist, he said that it's very important to remember that if you go into politics or go into something like this, and you want to have influence, you want to influence society, you want to make things better. He warned that this wanting to have influence goes into wanting to have power, but then if you start to concentrate too much on getting the power, you're just aiming at the power, like the Left Greens did, it seems to me. They compromised on every single thing that they wanted to influence, pretty much.
So they're sacrificing the influence in order to get the power.
Yes. So they've gone they've played themselves in a way, you know, because they wanted to have influence.
So what's the point? The point is like just that they have the power and do nothing. It's so strange how it happens.
Sad.
Yeah.
And like they say, power corrupts. I think that's very true. So you're this young people for rights. Is it called that? That's your
Young people's for rights. Ungdomens 4 rättigheter is it called in Swedish.
Oh, cool. Ungdomens 4 rättigheter. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, we were also like wondering, you know, we wanted to interview more people from the youth movements all around Scandinavia, and maybe in the future we could like have some kind of I don't know, conference, meeting, summer camp, whatever, just to like strengthen the collaboration and like maybe have some kind of unified message that we could put out, you know, because that would maybe make the governments in the Nordic countries notice that we are a lot of people and we are very strong. So yeah, we're just wondering if you guys would be open to something like that in the future.
Me personally would love that. I work very hard to strengthen our bonds with other countries. Hence, I'm here. So I would totally love that to cooperate more in the future.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think the first step is just having this dialogue and, you know, speak about things and who knows, maybe what we can achieve together in the future. It'd be quite awesome. Kalli here has been before in some kind of thing like this, haven't you?
Yes, we did. Like the Pirate Party was pretty keen on cooperating with other pirate parties in Europe, and we had meetups and get-togethers from all around Europe. It was pretty cool. Do you know DM25 in the European Parliament?
I've heard of it. Just the EU Parliament, I don't have any clue about. My interest is not in the EU, so I don't know much about it. But I think I've heard about it.
It's I don't remember what the acronyms stand for, DM25, but it's a leftist political party in the European Parliament. Democracy in Europe Movement 2025. So yeah, we've been in contact with them pretty much, and I think just their explicit goal is to like strengthen leftist international cooperation, and especially in Europe. So we hope something will come of that.
Yeah, I think for now I think we've finished all the important questions I wanted to talk with you, and very nice meeting you, Nicole, and just hopefully we can do more of this.
Likewise. It was really fun to talk to you and to see the difference and the similarities between Sweden and Iceland, because I think if you have some kind of picture of Sweden, I think Swedes also have it on Iceland, and so it's quite fun to see if it is correct or not.
Yes, indeed. It's good to contrast, to see the differences, and also maybe because we are so we're on the periphery in our political spectrums in each country, so
And I also
it's
think it's
empowering
very
to
good
meet
to
up and link up, you know.
I think it's very good to speak, to you and other people abroad, because we can maybe learn the warning signs, as you said, about, for example, about the education system. We can learn from you, and we can we don't have to go through the same thing that you went through. We can stop it before it happens. So it's very good to collaborate and communicate, so we can, be warned.
See the early signs.
Yeah, exactly.
And of the Nazis rising up, it's not as big a problem as here as in Sweden, apparently.
Yeah, but we have a party in government that's very xenophobic, though. And maybe
That's true.
I think they're like Nazis in suits too, in a way.
Yeah, in many ways. Fair enough. Well, Nicole, we've been very happy to have you, and we hope to talk to you later, and all you in the young left and around the world in the left. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you later. Bye bye.
Bye.
Jæja, takk kærlega fyrir að hlusta og horfa á. Ég vona að við verðum í frekari sambandi við unga Svíja og unga Norðmenn og unga Dani
við erum að vinna
Þjóðverja.
Við erum að vinna í því að senda posta á bara alla og reyna að gera þetta smá þema næstu vikur, að tala við aðra ungliða og sjá hvað verður síðan þegar við erum búin að ná talsambandi, hvort við getum styrkt þessar hreyfingar alþjóðlega.
Ég held að sé mikilvægt einmitt af því að þegar við erum í svona miklu minnihluta að það getur skipt miklu máli að ná sambandi við aðrar hreyfingar. En ég vil minna ykkur á að þið getið styrkt Samstöðina með því að ganga í Alþýðufélagið og að Rauða borðið er núna á eftir klukkan 8 og minneti í Kjánugarði klukkan 10. Takk kærlega fyrir að hlusta og við sjáum síðar.
Takk fyrir.